I got to start out by letting you know this is a trick question. When we say, how do you make narcissists respect you, the fact of the matter is just my opinion. You can take it for what it's worth. But they're never going to respect you. But you can at least make them act like they respect you. And by the way, narcissists, if there's anything they're good at, it's acting, because their whole life is an act. Their whole life is a lie. They try to stay in character, which is not them, it's somebody else. And often they will actually mirror your character. They will try to be you because they admire you even as they disrespect you. But yeah, it's a trick question. They're not going to truly respect you, but you can put them in a position where they have to give you respect. It's not heartfelt, but they're going to give it to you anyhow. I think you know what I mean. Number two is we need to come to terms with the fact that the narcissist is, as we've already mentioned, an illusion. This person that you thought was your good friend, I'm speaking from experience here. I'm in my 70s. I've been through this a few times, and I know what I've experienced, and these people at the very get-go, the very onset, the first weeks, months, sometimes years, are able to put forward this illusion that they are truly my friend. Now, I've never had a love interest that was a narcissist, but that seems to be the most common. And if you're going through that or have gone through that, you know exactly what it is like. You could probably tell me a thing or two, and I'd like to hear that. But we have what is called love bombing, and as I've mentioned in other videos, when we talk about love bombing, we're also talking about love bonding. The whole purpose of bombing is to bond. The reason they want you to think they love you or they have befriended you is so they can attach you to them. It's actually a rope. It's a chain. It is, think of it not just as a binding rope, but as reins, like you would put on a horse, so you can be ridden, you can be driven. Or you could pull their cart for them, or whatever task it is they have at hand. But it's all about control, and they begin with this illusion. The illusion is that they're your friend, that they're your love partner, your romantic partner, and you find out, unfortunately, and by the way, all of us have been through this, but you find out eventually, you've been scammed, you've been shammed. You ever watch these videos on YouTube about romance scammers? Don't do it now, but if you've never seen those videos, these are the ultimate narcissist. I mean, you talk about the illusion, the love bombing gone to an extreme. These people are able, these scammers, they're capable of stealing thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars from their victims. And you wonder, how vulnerable can people be? Then I stop and think, yeah, I've been that vulnerable too. I thought the guy was really my friend, just trying to help out. I mean, what are friends for, right? Yeah, I've been duped. Number three is disrespect you. This is why they do it. They disrespect you to respect themselves. Now, what does that tell you? It tells me they need respect. There's something inside of them, something in their inner being that is a void and it wants to be filled. They feel like they don't get respect, and the way to get respect is steal it. And narcissists are good at taking things that don't belong to them, including respect. So if a narcissist can disrespect you and others, then somehow that, in their warped way of thinking, translates into self-respect. So the way they get self-esteem is by putting down other people. Makes perfect sense. If I'm above you, then I must be better than you, but I can't get above you, so I have to push you below me. That's how these people think, and they'll never admit it, but that seems to be the thinking pattern. So again, number three is they disrespect you so they can respect themselves. Really weird thinking. And as you're listening to this, I'm almost certain that some of you folks, you could tell me stories that would probably even blow me away of some of the experiences that you have had. Now, number four, we need to keep in mind that they're playing a game. That is, you don't want and you don't need their respect. They are playing a game. At the very onset, they pretend to respect you, and they're doing that to set you up so they can knock you down. They set you up so they can knock you down. You ever gone target practice shooting? Then you set up something, maybe it's a tin can. Why are you setting it up? So you can knock it over. It seems kind of silly, right? But yeah, it's kind of fun. So you go out to the gun range, you put up a pop can or whatever, and you shoot it. You knock it over. That's what the narcissist is doing to you. He's setting you up. And at the time, yeah, feels pretty good. Man, this guy is setting me up. Not in that sense, but setting me up in the sense that he's setting me up to shoot me down. But we don't realize that. We think this person, love interest, whatever, really our buddy, really our friend. Just wait till he pulls out, you know. I can't say it on YouTube because they'll get the wrong idea, but they're going to blow you over, put it that way. So you don't want their respect, you don't need their respect, and when they start to set you up, a lot of times you don't know they're setting you up to knock you down because a lot of people genuinely like you. You know, you've had experiences, and hopefully still do, where there's someone in your life who genuinely loves you. They're not setting you up, it's genuine, it's real. Well, the narcissist is such a good actor that you can't always tell. That's another video, how to tell. So, you know, make sure that you understand that they don't respect themselves. That's number 5. Narcissists don't respect themselves. It is a form of self-admiration that is transferred, as we mentioned earlier, from you to them. So they try to manufacture respect because they don't really have it. So remember the story of Narcissist and where the term narcissist came from, and he looked into the water and he saw his reflection and he fell in love with himself. That's kind of what narcissists do, but why did he need to look in the water to see himself? Because apparently he felt empty or he didn't feel good about himself inside. So narcissists don't respect themselves. They need to have that reflection. They need to look in the mirror. They need to look in the water and see their reflection. The way they do that, again, is through you. You're their supply. You make them feel good. And they get that, as we mentioned, by taking away your sense of respect so they can apply it to themselves. Number 6, we need to adjust our lives to their absence. Now, the reason I say that is we like to set up boundaries. And we want the narcissist on the other side of the boundary. That's a good thing. But I don't want the narcissist anywhere in my life. I don't want him inside my boundaries. I don't want him outside my boundaries. I want him gone. I don't want him snooping around the peripheral. And we talked about that in the last video. If you didn't see it, you probably want to go back and watch it again or watch it for the first time. But yeah, we have peripherals. We can't actually see the narcissist. But out there he is or she is. They just don't go away. We need to adjust our lives to their absence. We want them gone. And the reason I bring that up is because that initial love bombing and bonding, that attachment, somehow it stays. There's like a trace of reminiscence about this person that was, we were kind of fond of the person. It was fake, but we were fond of them, and that some of that kind of sticks. So we need to adjust our life where we just get rid of all of it best we can. Not always possible, but we need to try. Now here's an idea. Something that I have done. It might be overboard a little bit. But what I have done when I've had a narcissist in my life is I just wrote their name on a sheet of paper and I burned it. That might be an exaggeration. I was reading somewhere somebody does something similar, but what they would do is in their mind, they have a funeral for the narcissist. Dead and gone. I don't think I want to do that because it just gets the wrong connotation. I don't want the person dead. I just want them gone, out of my life, out of view. Not peripheral, just totally, completely, 100% out of my view. So that's one little trick that I've learned. Not suggesting that you try it, but just letting you know these are some of the things I've done. Now, number 8, this is kind of important. Somebody, you know what game theory is, where we try to predict people's behavior by what we do. So I'm going to do something that will predict your behavior, game theory. Something akin to, it's really not mind reading, but theory of mind. So somebody came up with this game, and I was watching a video about this on YouTube, and it was absolutely fascinating. But the idea was, the guy set up a game where you would treat the other player nice, or you would treat them not nice, and they would do the same thing to you. And somehow you would run up your score.
After all the games were played, the results were tallied up and the leaderboard established.
And then the person who made the game invited others to come up with a theory or a strategy to play the game. And he had all kinds of submissions to how to win the game against some nondescript opponent. And he took these strategies, the guy who set up the game and invented the game, and he took these strategies and he applied them to see which one worked the best. So the game is called Tit for Tat.
The crazy thing was that the simplest program ended up winning, a program that came to be called Tit for Tat.
So someone is nice to you, you can be mean to them, or you could be nice back. Or if they are mean to you, you could be mean back to them, or you could be nice to them. So which one works the best? Which one's going to run up your score the best?
Tit for tat starts by cooperating, and then it copies exactly what its opponent did in the last move. So it would follow cooperation with cooperation and defection with defection. But only once. If its opponent goes back to cooperating, so does tit for tat.
Tit for tat. Are you going to be nice to the guy when he's not nice, or are you going to be nice to the guy when he is nice? And by the way, he's playing the same thing against you. So who's going to win? Who's going to run up the most score? And what they discovered was, overwhelmingly, the individuals with a strategy that got the highest points were the ones, tit for tat, who are the ones who responded nicely to whatever was thrown at them. That's not to say that they didn't punish them. When the other team or the other guy you were opposed to did something to hurt you, then you hurt him back. That worked sometimes, but the bottom line is, and one theory, one suggestion, or whatever you want to call it, to win the game was just to reflect the other person. So if the other person did something unkind to you, you responded in kind. If they did something nice to you, you responded nice back to them. And that strategy in one series of games was the single most effective of all of them. Just be a mirror. Whatever they do to you, just throw it right back at them. You reinforce their niceness and you punish their not niceness. Now that strategy didn't work every time as number one, but it was always like in the top 10 strategies. So that seems to be what works. So when you're dealing with a narcissist, and I think this is really important, I may put a link to that video if I can find it in the description below, but something I think is worth watching. How to predict what a narcissist will do, and you can actually do that. Or how you can affect their behavior with reasonable accuracy. Nothing is perfectly. All right, let's tie all this together. And the way we tie this together is just to understand that the way to deal with a narcissist before you even meet the narcissist is to make sure that you value yourself and that your value is yours. It's not something that you give away. Now, you could value other people, which I think you should, right? People have worth, they have value, so we acknowledge that. But we also have worth, we also have value. And if we give away our sense of worth, our sense of importance, our sense of value, what happens is we find that, well, how can you value other people if you don't even value yourself? So by having your self-esteem, let's put it in those terms, by having self-esteem, we can esteem others. But if we have no self-esteem, We can't esteem others. And that seems to be the problem with a narcissist. He has no self-esteem. Let's don't allow ourselves to be in that same position where we give away our sense of self-esteem or our sense of value or our sense of worth or whatever you want to call it. But that is what ties all these 8 things together. The first and foremost is we make sure that we know our identity. We know who we are. We know that we are people, or I am a person of value, and I recognize your value as well. That's tit for tat. That works. Don't forget to subscribe to this video. We have a library of videos, been doing this for a very long time. There's a link on the screen. Click on that, and you can watch those. We'll see you all next time.